Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well. This is video 2. That's right, video 2 of 2 on this marvelous Monday. Marvelous Monday, and you look absolutely amazing, by the way. If you missed the first video, do go and check it out at the end of this video. This is a little bit of a, some will say, crazy video. Did I say you look amazing, by the way? I may have done. It's Monday, and you know it takes sort of a couple of days for my brain to kind of fire fully and to get. Got a live tonight where we're going to be ranting more about video 1. If I don't know what happened there. What did happen there? I have no idea. We're then going to do a live on this, Wednesday, what we're talking about now. Anyway, I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes. He says straight into the meat and potatoes, a rather delayed start on the meat and potatoes, but we're going to get into it because this was something that was sent to me. Someone sent me the link, and the link that I was sent is going to be in the description of this video. And I would suggest that you go and check it out because it kind of shows you where this stemmed from. And I don't think this person who sent this sort of had this idea is the first person who's had this idea. And I think what I will say is the more you think about this idea, the more it kind of makes sense. But that was, like I say, Murder Metal Mayhem was the channel that did the video, and that was the link that I was sent. Short videos, under 11 minutes and 6 seconds. I think that's the whole purpose of 666 seconds of crime. That's kind of the byline of the channel. It's a decent channel. It does pretty much the same as what I do. Kind of spitball, speculate, and have thoughts and feelings about these cases. But look, what it was the idea that potentially the Idaho 4 murder was streamed. It was a video. Perhaps it was even pay-per-view. And look, hear me out. I know some people are thinking already, oh, fucking hell, this has gone a little bit too far. And look, it may be that the pay-per-view piece of this is a little bit of a stretch. It may be a little bit of a stretch, but there are things that fall into place. We remember we covered some of the little things that, and again, yesterday or this morning, I said about the detail, the devil in the detail. And there had been Venmo payments sent out. Remember, a funny little, I think it was Jack Katovich had sent a Venmo payment, or his other half had sent one, and it was of about $6, and it was just a timestamp. It was just a timestamp. Well, now we don't know the accuracy of these things. We don't know whether all of these things were done to offer little hooks that people would latch onto. And we've heard some stories. We've had some people come out, and they've all had things to say about the Idaho 4 case. They love it, don't they? Absolutely love it. And we just do this. Just to remind you, smash that like button, or smash you in a nice way, of course, softly. But it helps the channel. I don't ask for money and stuff like that, but a subscribe, a like would be stupendous, marvelous for Monday. But anyway, look, there are some things that kind of make you think that this does hold some weight. Not only were there the odd little Venmo payments that, again, there could have been something else. It could have been nothing. It could have been nothing. It could have been for a bit of food. It could have been just someone setting something up for people to latch onto early doors because they knew that would look fucking bizarre, especially with the timestamps. Who knows? But Ann Taylor had made a reference to there being 400 witnesses. 400 witnesses, and people lost their mind, but it very quickly dissipated. It kind of said, people was like, wow, 400 witnesses, and then people forgot about it. But 400 witnesses, it kind of, when you hear people like, Santa talking about the complexity of this case, how complex it is. Complexity in a case like this, there shouldn't really be any complexity. The complexity is in the investigation and getting to the person who you feel did the crime. But once that's got, if you've got all the evidence, then the complexity thing then goes off, especially like some people are hell-bent on believing that Brian Kohberger did this crime, let's not forget. And they're basing that off of, they feel that his car was seen in the vicinity of the property. His DNA was found at the scene of the crime, and there's phone evidence, albeit incomplete, but evidence that would suggest that there's a potential that his phone was not connecting to towers at the time of the crime, or at the time that they are claiming that the crime happened. There's a lot of little things in the background as well, such as we feel that there's a potential for Bethany Funk to hold exculpatory evidence, which is bizarre in itself. We know that early on that there was talk of the Filmon group with the camera set up that may or may not have picked up someone running away from 1122 King Road at around, I think it was 1 or 2 a.m. And again, the mention of the 400 witnesses, Steve Gonsalves as well. Steve Gonsalves coming forward and saying that something gross would be coming out. Now, like it is said in Murder Metal Mayhem's video, when Steve Gonsalves says gross, you automatically go down different rabbit holes as to what he could mean. He could have been talking about the injuries sustained. He could have been talking about some of the things that was going on in the house. But there would be nothing more gross than potential that this was streamed in some manner. But look, I don't think that's the only option with regards to what would generate 400 witnesses. I do feel that what that would potentially do, if this was the case and there was 400 witnesses that had seen something on video, there's a potential that would explain why everybody's so damn quiet about everything. Like, people have turned around and they've said, oh, it's hard enough to keep one person quiet, let alone keep, 400 people quiet. But I think, on the contrary, if there's a if there's a video going about or pictures going about of some description, then would people want to bring attention to themselves and get kicked out of the university? For instance, if they went to parents, what would the parents do? Would the parents advise their children to go public with what they know, or would their parents advise them to keep their fucking mouths shut? I think the latter. I think parents would tell them to keep their mouths shut. I think if the university has blanket called everybody in and said, look, we know that there's people involved in this. You may have saw pictures, you may have saw videos. I suggest you keep your mouth shut. The police will interview people. They've obviously interviewed. They've said that they've interviewed, 90 people, or done 90 interviews. But look, it may not have been that this was some sort of pay-per-view snuff film, for instance. But what if there was other things caught on camera? What if, when they eventually went to the house, before law enforcement was called, people were taking photographs or taking videos of it inside the house? And how many people did that then get out to? We've been kind of told that there was potentially a conversation on Snapchat, and that had kind of exploded around sort of 8:30 to 9 o'clock on that morning. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that there is a video, that there is some degree of footage somewhere, whether it be photographs, whether it be a video. It's just, what was that of? What was it of? And what did it capture? Who started it? Who was the first person to generate that video? We know that there's protected people in this. We know there's a lot of things that are being hidden, gag order wise. There's so many things that you don't get to see. Like, they make references to, if this comes out, people's lives could potentially be in danger, so on and so forth. gag orders of this nature, this extreme, in my opinion, would only be in place to protect something exploding out of control. This is about control. And if you've got to control a situation where there's a potential that a lot of people were involved in potentially seeing something of this nature, I think that would potentially warrant a gag order, because that's a lot of things to control. That's a lot of things to go through, a lot of people to talk about, to ascertain how it got to that stage. Why was that even done in the first place? I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on whether you feel that there is a potential for this to be this kind of situation. I do think, like I say, a pay-per-view snuff film type thing, I feel is a stretch. But you couldn't turn around and say that's 100% off the table. You certainly couldn't. But I feel that we're kind of on the edge of something that makes a lot of sense. But because of how far it's gone with it, it's like everything else, a true crime niche. There is some information within the true crime niche that is absolutely fantastic. The downside is when that gets pushed a little bit too far, the entire niche loses credit. It loses, people lose faith in it. And like I say, with regards to this pay-per-view and potentially people paying to see something that was prearranged to be set up, I feel that there's a potential that there is something there. There is potentially something there that makes sense, but it's probably been pushed a little bit too far. Let me know what you think. 400 witnesses is a lot of witnesses. It could just be witnesses with regards to what was said. Was there conversations afterwards? Again, this Snapchat conversation, was that a thing? Could be that there was some form of community chat or setup where they can have a discussion about something. Was things being discussed? Was things being talked about in the aftermath of the crime? But 400 is a lot. But it is a lot to keep quiet. Would someone have said something by now? Or does the university have that much power, and pair that with parents telling their kids to keep their mouths shut? Would that be enough to stem the flow from that sort of rumor? Again, I'm interested to let you know. Like I say, head over, the link's in description. Go and have a check out with Murder Metal Mayhem. And he kind of goes through the initial approach that was sort of perpetuating this idea. And yeah, this is just my thoughts. Again, I don't feel that this was a pay-per-view crime. I don't believe that at all. Now, was there something else pay-per-view that kind of spiraled out of control and it became this? Again, it's not out of the realms of possibility, but I feel that there are some much more simple ideas. I still don't see Brian Koberger as being the most clear, or as some would say, Occam's razor in all this. I don't see Brian Koberger as the Occam's razor of this story. I don't. If anything, he is an outlier. But time will tell. Time will tell. But we've got some things to talk about this week. Stick around if you want to hear more. Like I say, like and subscribe. Smash that like or I'll smash you and all that. I'm going to have to run and do something productive today. Are you doing anything productive? Let me know down below if you are. I shall catch you all